Okay, I'm going to add the title. I'm going to pin this. Hey, everybody. Perfect. Okay, so for everyone that joined, thank you. I am going to be talking about 4 exercises every snowboarder must do. Why am I going over this topic? Well, if you were tuned into our platforms over the last weekend, the 3 of us went to Big Bear. We snowboarded, and it was actually the first time that I snowboarded in 4 years. I was totally nervous going into it because being a physical therapist, we see people that come into a clinic all the time for injuries, and around this time of year, it ends up being skiing and snowboarding injuries. So there was an inside joke with all my patients. It was like, just don't get hurt. I was totally nervous because it's been 4 years, but actually I felt so much better this time around snowboarding than I did 4 years ago. I don't know why. I definitely trained my legs a lot more than I did 4 years ago. So I'm going to contribute to that. But then after the weekend, I was so sore in certain areas. I felt my quads, I felt my calves, even my adductors. And I was like, I have to share this with everyone. So I'm going to go over actually 5 exercises. I should change the title. There's a bonus. So for everyone that's sticking around, you know there's 5 when I only wrote that there's 4. And I highly recommend all these exercises for snowboarders, even skiers, even water sports like water skiing, wakeboarding. It'll all carry over. So let's get started. So the first exercise that I'm going to do is just going to be a wall sit, really focused on my quads and my calves. I couldn't tell you how much the entire time that I was boarding, I would just be hanging out in this position. And then if I was going down the track for a while, my calves and my quads were really burning. So I'm just going to do a wall sit, but it's going to be a little bit different. So I'm here in my apartment. I'm going to get my feet back. The further my feet are back, the more that I'm going to actually have my knees over my toes, and that's okay because we're doing that while we're snowboarding at certain points. So I'm going to come down to what I can hold. My quads are already shaking from a workout yesterday, but I'm up on my toes. Now I'm going to hold this position. This is all endurance, right? So at least 30 seconds, but the goal is to do a minute. Let's see how I do. I'm already shaking because my wife and I, we did a lot of deadlifts and squats last night. All right, so let's see how we're doing. I really feel my quads because my knees are over my toes, okay? Really get those heels up high. We'll do 10 more seconds. Oh, my quads are burning so bad. And then I'm gonna relax. All right, so that's exercise 1. So it's a wall sit, it's a modified wall sit, and it's because I wanna be up on the toes, because whenever I was up on my toes and I was on my toe edge, my quads and my calves were really working. All right, so what's the next exercise? It's gonna build right off of that. Now we're gonna do heel raises with our knees bent. So I'm gonna come here, have my pants roll up so that you can see. And now I'm just gonna do heel raises with my knees a little bit bent. I'll be here, and get down to a squat, and raise up, hold for 5 seconds, come back down. All right, so why heel raises with the knees bent is to really work that soleus muscle. When I was boarding, I had my knees bent the entire time. You never want to be with your knees locked out. You always want to stay on the edge. So my knees are always bent, my calves are always working. For anyone that can relate, if your knees are straight, you catch some powder, you catch an edge, that's how you wipe out pretty hard. All right, so 2 exercises so far. We had that modified wall sit, and then we had those knees bent heel raises. Now I want to go over, for all of us that can relate to it, when you strap out your bindings, you're going to the chairlift, you're getting off the chairlift, there's always one foot that's in the binding, another foot, it's working a lot, you're pushing out, right? So I ride goofy, so my left foot would be out of the binding, and I'm pushing out, When I woke up Monday morning, the inside of my groin was so tight, my adductors were so sore on the left. Just on the left though. All right, so how can we recreate that exercise? We're just gonna do some slider variations. So we're gonna do a lateral lunge slider, Because I'm on hardwood floor and I have socks, it's easy to do, but I want to make it a little bit multi-directional. Never was I just going strictly out to the side. I had my right foot clipped in, even my foot turned out a little bit just because of my binding. And then what I would do is I would just slide out with this foot. So I'm going to do a little multi-directional. So a little bit forward, also a little bit out to the side, also a little bit out to the side and back. So this muscle, keeping contact with the ground, I'm stretching my adductors, slowly coming back in. The goal is how low can you go, but still get back up with keeping good form. Also, this quad's working, the muscles on the outside of my hip are working. I'm going to go a little bit lower each side just because I'm feeling good right now. And then in the goal, right, we don't want this caving in, falling around all over the place. Staying really strong on this leg. And tell myself about 80 to 90% of my weight is on this leg. Then I'm just sliding out. Okay, 3 exercises so far. Now, the next one that we're going to do is going to be reverse Nordic curls. So I'm actually going to be hitting my quads with this one. First is my hamstrings. I thought of this because when I actually stopped midway through, Mike and I were going down. We were hustling down the trail, and I lost Mike. So I just stopped, and I fell down on my knees, and I went back, and it was the best quad stretch. And then you're using your quads so much. So it just felt like the right exercise to do. It's a lot of eccentric work with snowboarding. I was like, this is perfect. All right, so how do I do this at home? I have a pillow over here. Let me get this set up so that you can see it. Maybe here. I'm using the pillow just for comfort. Let me actually angle myself this way. So I just have the pillow for comfort. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay braced here. I'm going to try to keep my back flat. And now I'm going to control myself leaning back and then come back up. Control back, come back up. You see how I use my hands? That just sort of helps distribute my weight so I can control myself leaning back and then coming back up. As you do this, you'll feel your quads are working. My butt's working too to help bring myself back up. But basically, to get myself back up, I'm pushing my shins down into the ground. That would look like this going forward. So it's a quad exercise. Even though it can seem a little bit tricky, how's that a quad exercise when it's set up in this position? Well, it's because as I go back, I'm pushing my shins back into the ground to lift back up. Okay, so those are 4 exercises. We have one more. I wrote 4 exercises, but again, one more special one for everyone that's hanging around. All 4 of those exercises so far are for endurance. So I would program all those, at least 3 sets, if not 5. And I would try to do it for at least 30 seconds. That's a good starting point. Work your way up to 60 and then even 90. The longer that you can do it, the better. And then you're going to feel like you have the endurance to board for a few days. I'm out of breath. Talking a lot. I was just at a course all day, so I need to hydrate a little bit more. But like I said, go for endurance. So this last one, it's for power, okay? We're going to be doing squat jumps. Why power? When I was going down some of those diamonds towards the end, and then once you catch up speed, having the break, right? It's using a lot of like muscles and then stopping, coming into like a squat position, especially coming on your heels or your toes. Things happen really fast. You need a lot of strength in your legs in order to stop, use your edge, and not fall. So we're going to do squat jumps. So I'm going to be here, about hitting my head. I'm going to squat, jump, jump. And again, even though it's a power exercise, I'm still going to do it for endurance. I'm going to do it until my legs get tired. I'm not worried about my butt just going back. I actually want my knees to go forward because that's what's happening when I was boarding. Okay, that's the one exercise that I would do differently. If you can do that for 90 seconds, you're awesome. But that's gonna be no joke. All right, so for everyone that stuck around, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm out of breath. Those are 5 exercises that I would do if you snowboard. All right, so be safe, snowboard safely, have a good time. Thanks for following.